Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Warhammer 2 Quest Battle Walkthrough. In this series that this is the first episode of, we are going over the quest battles in Warhammer 2. Today is the first episode, so we're going the first battle. And the first character is Tyrion, leader of the High Elves. The first battle we're going to do is the Battle of Sunfang. The Elves have a saying that once a sword is drawn, then it should not be sheathed again until the offender's blood is spilt. Tyrion finds himself accused of dark elf sympathies by the Loremasters. It matters little that the situation has been brought about by the intrigues of selfish princes jealous of Tyrion's influence over the Phoenix King. For now, swords have been drawn and blood must indeed be split. Tyrion must expect to face powerful magic and ranks of the elite sword masters. So let's see what kind of enemy we are facing off against. So we see that there will be, of course, the general, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spearmen units, 3 archer units, and 1 artillery unit, but reinforcements are expected. And reading from the details that Tyrion must expect to face powerful magic and ranks of elite sword masters, I am expecting the reinforcements to be the Sword Masters of Hoeth, and units like that. So let's get into the battle. So as we see here on the right side, we see that there will be 102 soldiers as reinforcements. So I'm guessing there might be like 1 or 2 generals and heroes, and then a few elite units, heavy infantry units. But our own army is quite powerful. We have a lot of spearmen, we have archers, we have the Lions of Grace.
This is a sad day for Ulthuan, when Asur fights Asur within sight of the White Tower. Bel-Korhadris would surely weep, as I will for the dead that I slay this day. But make no mistake, I will reap a toll, for my honor has been called into question. The offense must be sated, and only then shall I take up Sunfang to fight the true enemies of the Phoenix throne.
Alright, so I'm going to pause the game. So as I was saying before the narration by Tyrion, we have quite a good army composition. We have the spearmen, we have the White Lines of Grace, we have a lot of archers, and we have some Lothern Sea Guard. But we also have cavalry and 1 unit of artillery. Now the artillery will be great for taking out units that are bunched up. The cavalry will be great for taking out the enemy's artillery and their own archers, while the infantry, they'll be great at holding the line. Now Tyrion, he'll be important to assist in taking out the generals and heroes, if that what comes out as reinforcements wherever it may be. So I will probably, well, first I'm going to advance my main force to meet the enemy threat, and then I'm going to reorganize the position of my units to meet with the threat that approaches. Since I don't know where the threat is originating, I'm just going to put my spearmen as the front line, and then the White Lines of Grace, and then archers, so I can easily maneuver them without them being in a long line for them to get out of. So I'm going to have the spearmen first, then the I'm going to have the spearmen facing towards the forest, so they can, with their shields and spears, they can block off any charge that comes from the hill, if that is where the enemy comes from. Now I'm going to put my archers here behind them. Now I want my artillery to get into position so they can start firing immediately. And what I want my cavalry to do is I want to see where all of the units are. So I have these 2 units here, and then the other 2 units on either side. So I'll try to probably stay in the forest with this one to try and use that as cover from enemy fire, while advancing with the other units to take out. So I'm probably going to have these Illyrian Reavers to go and take out the artillery, while the Silver Helms flank around to take out the archers. So now let's go into formation. The graphics in this game are absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait for Warhammer 3 to come out. Uh-oh, as we see, the Loremasters joined the battle against us. Teach them a lesson, and as we see, the reinforcement icon has popped up, so the enemy reinforcements are coming through here. And just as expected, it's going to be a general, a hero, and a hero, and unit. Alright, and there might be more reinforcements. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the white lines of Crace to go meet them. And also my general's unit, because since the cavalry will be dealing with the archers, the main force will probably try to assist them, which will stop them from coming and attacking us, so that buys us a bit of extra time. So our spearmen can easily go into formation without having to worry about being overrun by the enemy general or units. I'm also going to send a few archer units this way and try and assist, because archers are, in my opinion, and I think everybody's opinion, of the High Elves, the strongest unit they have. There's a lot of good strategies that you can use with them, which makes them highly effective. I'm going to have the Lothern Sea Guard to try and stay at this slanted angle, so they can shoot into the enemy army as it approaches, but it also allows us to quickly turn around to deal with the secondary army if needed. As soon as the artillery gets close enough, I want to immediately begin firing so I can do as much damage as possible. Now I want to engage quickly so I can deal with this threat and not have to worry about it much longer. Fortunately, this doesn't seem like it's going to be such an easy thing. Luckily, one of the archer units has moved out of the way, so it will be easier to catch it. So I'm going to constantly play it in half-time speed, so it's easier to show all the movements and also explain everything that's happening. So right now I'm trying to maneuver the white lines of Crace and archers, plus Tyrion, which is our general unit, and generals are very strong in this Warhammer game. So it is important to have him assist with taking out the enemy heroes. Now I want to move my cavalry out of the way if possible, because although they are a distraction for now, we do want to keep them alive just in case they are needed. And so this line is formed up. Now normally I wouldn't like to have this big wide line, but in this case I'll be okay with it because the cavalry is distracting them, which is stopping them from really doing any damage to us. Any serious damage to us early on. So I'm just trying to constantly maneuver around the enemy forces, predicting where they might go. I'm having my artillery shoot where the majority of the enemy army is located. But I'm also trying to distract the enemy forces to try and draw their attention. Unfortunately, as we see, this isn't going too well, with more and more of their reinforcements pouring out. So now what I will be forced to do is to engage in hand-to-hand combat. Now, I don't want my archers being killed, so I have to be very careful. As we see, Tyrion very quickly does a lot of damage to that hero. And although our cavalry is strong, I mean, eventually this will be a bit too much. So I'm just trying to take out this artillery because their artillery is very powerful. At this long range, it can easily do a lot of damage to our units. So I need to charge in and take it out immediately, no matter how many casualties I take in the process. So I'm fine with these four of these cavalry units actually routing, because in the end they will be helping win the battle. Now see, I could just leave this unit because it's running away, routing, but I will continue until it fully, with the skull icon, with the flag, so I know it fully is retreating. So I don't have to worry about them coming back. Now, this is quite risky having the units this close, but we have finally permanently routed the enemy artillery, which is a great advantage, and our cavalry units are starting to come back, which is a big plus. So So right now I just want to use my cavalry to continue drawing the attention, but also finally take out these archers. With these archers taken out, we could really have an easier time in this battle. And unfortunately, just as I predicted, the enemy has come back. Luckily for us, our powerful High Elf archers should be able to deal with it quite quickly. I will slowly start to move up the spearmen to start getting closer to the main fight, to allow them to get more prepared, but also stop the enemy forces from having an easy time to flank us. And at this time I'm going to start pulling out the units because we have taken out the enemy artillery and the majority of their archers, which is a big plus. But now seeing how close the enemy is, I'm forced to start running my men instead of walking, so that my archers get some time to fire into them, but also so we are a bit more prepared. Now see, that's the skull icon with the flag, which means they are permanently routing. So now what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and just pick off the 2 units of Swordmasters of Hoeth there, because they are a very strong unit and I don't really want to be engaging with them. Unfortunately, I have to send Prince Tyrion back to the front line because the enemy general has arrived there. But we have now completely wiped out the enemy archers, which was very heavy for our cavalry, very heavy in casualties. But as you see, this distracted a lot of the enemy forces, buying us a lot of vital time. Now luckily for us, the Lothern Sea Guard, they can switch from bows to spears. So I'm not too worried about them getting engaged in combat because they are prepared for it and strong. So now I'm just going to try and pick off these guys at the gate here that are standing in our way. Now the White Lions of Grace should have a very easy time dealing with the enemy forces, because they are much stronger. Now I'm also going to do some micromanaging at this point, since we're getting a bit low in number, to try and avoid the arrow fire. It isn't that easy, especially when it's a big unit or there's a lot of units, but it can be useful at times. I'm going to try and move the archers out of the way. Now we want our artillery to cease fire because it's going to be shooting friendlies, especially at that range. Now what I'd like to do is just try to maneuver my archers around so they have easy access to the weak points of the enemy army. Now since the enemy general is routing, yeah, I'm not going to worry about the cavalry too much. If this was a campaign battle, I'd do everything in my power to minimize the casualties and save as many as possible, but this is just a quest battle, so it doesn't really matter. But so the main goal here is to have your White Lions of Grace to go up to the left side with the archer unit, with 3 archer units, to just block off the enemy movement, to stop the reinforcements from gathering up, piling up, and assisting in the battle. What you also want is to use your cavalry to your advantage by charging around, flanking, to take out the enemy archers and artillery, which will be very useful. And as you see, we have victory. It could have been done with fewer casualties, but this is just to show you what the battle is like. As I was saying, you want your spearmen units to stand on the front line, slowly moving forward, but not too close so you don't draw the enemy's attention. In the meantime, you want to use the cavalry to take out the enemy archers and any ranged units like the artillery to stop them from shooting your men from a distance and greatly weakening them. Then once the enemy spearmen and infantry are engaging your own cavalry, you want to use your artillery and hit them while they're bunched up, inflicting a lot of good damage. Now unfortunately there will be some friendly fire because of this, but it also means that you will be able to take out a good chunk of the enemy's army while you are at a good distance without that many of your own casualties. So while you're just using your cavalry and artillery to pick off the main force that we see, first off you're just having your general Tyrion and the white lines of Krace units to hold off at the gate here to stop the enemy movement. And just by doing that, you'll win this battle very easily. Just block off the two armies and surround them and pick them off with your archers and cavalry, which are your best units in this battle. So let's see how it went. Well, it was a close victory. Let's end the battle, and we have 355 losses, while the enemy has lost 3 of their armies. 647, 70, and 159. So not only did we take few casualties, we also defeated 3 enemy armies. So I guess we crushed this rebellion and all these rumors as well. And that's how you do the Battle of Sunfang in Total War Warhammer 2 as one of the quest battles in the Tyrion campaign. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it. My top goal in these videos is not to draw attention or get you to click on the videos, but instead it is to get you to click on them because you want to learn more about the games, you want to get better as a general or strategist, and you want some help with it. These videos are purely just to help with winning these battles, taking fewer casualties, and inflicting as much damage as possible, but also making your campaigns and battles as effective as possible. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I really hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you watching the next time. Goodbye for now.